I feel like the average person can attest that at one point in your life, you've probably felt behind the race, behind your peers, just behind. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Thank you for joining Katie Pop's Secret. And as you know, I like to keep things sweet, short, and spicy. And as you can see from the title, we're going to talk about feeling behind in life, whether at whatever stage you are. But I can specifically feel and relate to people in their 20s and 30s who have just literally felt like you've been behind the race, you've been behind the line, feeling like you've just been last at a lot of the things in your life. Is that you? Before your girl starts the video, let me just grab myself some green tea. But one thing I wanted to highlight before we get into our chat is I've come to realize that we are so conditioned to what the world tells us that we should want. But I think that what we really need to realize is that you need to look above, connect with the one that created you, and figure out what it is that you want that aligns with the purpose and the plan that God has for your life. Anyways, guys, let's get into this video. So you're probably watching this video because you've just felt behind in life, whether it's behind the race, whether it is just feeling like, you're behind your peers in regards to just anything, relationship wise, career wise, life wise, just feeling like you're just not meeting the requirements as to where you feel like you should be at this stage in life. So if you're feeling like that, remember there's tons of people who are feeling like that, and I can say that I've been in that position too. So yes, you're at the right video if you're feeling like that, because we're gonna chat and we're gonna talk about it. So I know some of you have heard the saying, because I've heard it many times, that it's not a sprint but it's a marathon. So just meaning that you got to pace this life out, you got to pace out life in regards to, it's not a sprint to who can get there faster, but it's a continuous journey as to where it is that you want to go, just as long as you kind of get to that finish line for yourself, right? And I did a video in regards to like comparison when it comes to your peers. I'm going to put it here, so make sure you check that out. But again, you have to run your own race in life and just realize that you're not in a race with anybody else, right? Life is just about living and going at the journey that's meant for you. And that's why I always say to myself and to other people, it's like, don't look around as to like what's going on, but look above and look at where you are and where you want to go for yourself, and keep blinders on, right? Just keep in your lane and remember that it's just you and the one above, and make that the priority for your journey, not what your peers are doing, not what the world is doing, but just where you're going in regards to purpose in life with him, right? And that's how I try to look at it. So I'm just gonna tell you a little bit of a story, because I know we've all been there where we've just felt really down and out. So I'm gonna talk to you about a story where I've literally felt that in this specific situation in my life, and maybe some of you guys can relate, right? So okay, so I'm gonna share something with you guys. I feel like it's a bit personal, but I'm gonna share it with you guys. So one of the things I know that in the past that I've prayed about is like for God to bless me, and I wanted to get married, and that was something that I really just wanted for myself in my life, right? And I'm gonna talk about my past, where I was in a relationship for 10 years, and that was something that I wanted, but at that point in my life, I was with somebody that I don't think took that into regards, or that didn't make that a priority for them. So I was with that person for 10 years. Long story short, I decided to walk away from that situation. And not too long after that, I ended up meeting my current husband, who I actually got married to a couple years later. So my point of kind of sharing that story is to say that I was in something for so long, feeling comfortable, but not necessarily in a good comfortable position, just a comfortability of knowing that it's something that I knew, fearing, I guess, like the unknown, rather than taking the leap of faith and just trusting God that there's better, and that I wanted more, and that I deserved more, and fearing, I guess, that I would have to waste all of that time again waiting for somebody else. And I realized that God always has your best interest in heart, especially when you like release everything to him and you lay it at his feet. And again, I felt that God was telling me to kind of walk away from that situation, and from that individual. And as I did that, I guess it was scary because I didn't know what was to come of that, or if I would meet someone and the length of time that that would take for me to like cultivate a relationship and to build it into what I wanted, for the potential of it possibly being a marriage or getting to that state. And I knew like a lot of people around me were hitting that benchmark for life, you know, because society tells us that it's the next thing to do, the next step to take in life. But long story short, you know, I ended up walking away from that situation, met my husband, and we got married within a couple of years. And I'm thinking to myself, that was the timeline for my life. People around me were getting married and I was so concerned about the timeline and the time frame, but it worked itself out, right? It worked out the way that it was supposed to work out. And I think sometimes we're just so caught up in the process of time and life, but you just have to relinquish it to the one that created you, and trust that what is meant for you and what is yours is going to be yours, and nobody can take that away from you. And again, in regards to timelines and time frames, I know that we have specific things for ourselves, but I feel like God's time frames and his timelines are so much better than the ones that we can plan for ourselves. And I've also come to realize that sometimes looking at other people's lives and what they're living and what you see and what's portrayed sometimes is not real, and you're not seeing the behind the scenes of the things that we think look like perfection, the things that we see that look perfect, the things that we look at and we want so badly, but we have no idea what's going on behind the scenes, how hard it is for people to maintain it, or how hard it is that people are hanging on to what they're showing to the world or to other people. So that would be my thing. Be careful of what it is that you're envying, or looking at other people's timelines, or looking at other people's races, because you really and truly don't know what's going on behind the scenes of a lot of people in a lot of people's lives, because people are silent, people are quiet, and people aren't sharing what's happening behind closed doors. I think this would be my little tip or little advice for anybody that's in, you know, that state of life, or in their 20s or 30s, or just in a state of mind where you're just feeling like you're lost, you know, you're feeling like you're just not getting or being where you want to be. Is that I think it all comes down to like your mindset. And I'm not here to say that I'm perfect, because I go through those things just like everybody else, but I have my moments. But I realize that there are things that we can do on a daily basis to kind of like get ourselves in that right direction. And for me, one of the things that I like to do is like, you know, I try to get up, I try to give the day to God, especially, for example, if you're going to work. I think it's really good to be able to listen to like something motivational, something that uplifts you, something that's going to give you the boost that you need for like your day, obviously after like your prayer and like just kind of relinquishing it to God. But for me, I have a pastor that I listen to, especially on my drive to work, and that really just feeds my spirit and gives me the boost. Just like if you're having a cold shower or you splash water on your face, it's just exactly what I need to kind of like give me that momentum to kind of get through my day. And I suggest doing that. I suggest finding some sort of channel that just gives you that motivation and that boost and that energy. And for me, it's like, you know, listening to this pastor who lays the word out so that I can kind of like keep that in my mind, and that's like the foundation of how I plan on living my day, you know. And I think once your mindset is there, then obviously things happen throughout your day, but it kind of resets you in a sense, because you're like, okay, I can do this, I got this, right? So that would be one of the things that I would suggest. And I would suggest also just sort of writing things down, like I think sometimes we try to look at the bigger picture of life, but I think it starts with the smaller things, the simpler things. So I would say daily, just write down the little things that you want to achieve for yourself. Write down the little things, or where it is you're trying to go, and figure out little things that's going to kind of propel you to that, right? So rather than thinking of like, you know, a year down the line, 2 years down the line, 5 years down the line, how about we just set a goal for this week, you know, for tomorrow, the things that we can do in increments to kind of get us to that level or to get us to that place that we kind of want to go. So that's also one of the things that I would say to do. And I would also say get mentorship, you know, find people, especially maybe career wise or whatever it is, just find people who are older, who are wiser or have more wisdom. Find somebody that can be a mentor to you, that you can sit down with and have conversations with, you know, just to kind of like feed your mind and, you know, give you tips and kind of guide you to exactly where it is that you are trying to get to, or, you know, you want to be. And for me, I obviously, if you're with me on this channel, you know that I'm a huge person of faith, and my faith is everything. And if I didn't have that, I don't know what else. And maybe I have people on here who, you know, have no idea what that realm is about, but I would suggest, you know, finding a community church where you can kind of build connection and relations and relationships to build your faith and to learn more about that, because I think that's a key that you need in this world today in order to really survive. At least it's for me, right? And I know a lot of people can attest to the same thing, right? So again, as you know, another thing, breathe. Life will come at you at many different ways, but again, it's just a matter of how you choose to take it and how you choose to respond to it. And that's something that I'm learning too, because again, life comes at you in a billion different ways, giving you a billion different things, but how do you choose to respond to it? And I'm just trying to breathe through the things that might not be the best or might not be the easiest, and again, look above. Guys, I hope that has been helpful, and I hope that you will continue to join me on this journey. Again, please, if you watch this channel or if you like being a part of this community, that you comment down below, have this conversation with me, and just make sure to add and subscribe, guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you again in the next video, and let me know what you want to chat about, okay? This is not just about me, but it's about us, so let's do this together. All right, guys, have an amazing day. Bye.